Greetings, my name is Wambui Bahati. Welcome to Wambui Made It. Today, part 3 of the broken rib baby blanket. Ta-da! A finished baby blanket. Yay! I'll tell you what, if I had to do anything over again, it would be that I would use one solid color when making this blanket. I believe that the pieces would just come together really invisibly if it was all one color. So those of you who did one color, I applaud you. See, I use this graduated yarn with all these different colors. And so now, because I had to piece it together, it's not as smooth as it could be if it was one color. Plus, look at how evenly it came together. That's the front. This is the back, and I believe that these stitches would literally be invisible. Yours should be almost invisible if you're only using one color yarn. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my table with the overhead camera, and I'm going to show you how to join these two sections together. I found the process, what is that word they always satisfying. I found it so satisfying when I was joining these two sections together. So I'm going to join the sections, come back, maybe talk a little bit about what's going on, and then I'm going to talk about putting on the fringe or the tassels. I only have 4 on mine, and you know what? Let's just get to it. The first thing we want to do is take both of our panels and lay them side by side. And if you have a right side, I was not able to determine a right from a wrong side, so I turned up just a side. But if you feel that you have a right side and a wrong side, then you want to turn the right side up. So the panels are side by side, close together, and you can put some little pins to try to ensure that they are together temporarily until we stitch them. Okay, then we're going to take our needle and some yarn. You want it to be the exact same yarn that you used to knit your blanket. You want to use that exact same yarn, and you want it to be the exact same color. I ended up with all of the pink here, even though I was using this yarn, which as you can see gives a lot of different colors. But right now I'm ended up with this pink color, and so I'm going to be using the pink to stitch my panels together. All right, so you want a darning needle, you want your yarn. If your yarn is thick or your needle is small, you want to twist it a little bit to get it through the needle eye. Okay, and then what we want to do is we don't want to keep it on the ball. We want about 30 inches or more, but we don't want to work with it on the ball. So we want a very long piece of yarn, but not too long. Okay, so I'm going to say that's 30 some inches right there. So we're going to start, and what we're going to do is we're going to be working on the outside here with these stitches. I call them little bumps. Every little bump, let me see if I can, I think you can see okay, but all right, so every little bump here, these little bumps, I call them little bumps, these little stitches that are here, we're going to be working with these, and that's what we're going to be passing the yarn through. Now we're going to start with, we're going to start down here so that the chain stitch part is also connected. So we're going to start, get our yarn, okay, and we're going to go through this. We're always going to start on our left. We're always going to go under. So we're going to go under here, and we're going to pull the yarn through, and we're going to leave a tail of about 8 or 9 inches, okay? And then we're going to go to the other side, that very first little bump that we see, and we're going to go under here and get that bump, under that bump. All right, and we're going to come through. All right, and now we're going to go back to the left side. We're going to find the next little bump on the left side. The next one, we don't want to skip any bumps, and you're going to pull the yarn through like that. And then we're going to go back to the right side, always going under. So now we see the next bump over here, and we're going to pull that through. Okay, and now we're going to go back to the left side, go under, always go under, and bump. And we want to stay on top. We don't want to go in too far or go to any bumps that are not just on the edge here. We want to stay on the edge. Let's go here for this bump. We're going to go underneath. And we're always going to be going from underneath. Okay, so let me see. And now we're going to go over to this bump over here. And I'm going to put my camera down a little closer as soon as I get up a little ways so that you can actually see what I'm doing better. And then we have a bump over here. And so we're going to do this bump. Okay. All right. And now we're going to go back over here and get this bump. Let me see if I can do it. Come down a little. Okay. Okay, always go under. So we're going to go to the other side and get this bump. All right. And now we're going to go to the other side and get this bump. Now, as we progress, we may have to cheat a little bit because we were measuring 30 inches. So we weren't counting rows. So we're probably going to, I'm going to run into some sections where it's not, just before I get to the end, where it's not totally going to match. So we're going to have to cheat a little bit. But for right now, we're just going to be catching every bump. So we were on the left, we want to go right, and we don't want to go, we want to go underneath, okay? Underneath the bump, okay? And like that. And now we're going to go to the left and go underneath this bump right here. All right. And we want to stay outside here. We don't want to go in there. We want the bumps that are just along the outside here. Okay, so they're stitches, but I call them bumps. Okay, all right, so there. So now it's time to go back over here and get this bump that's over here. And all right, and now there's a bump here. We want to get that bump. Okay. All right, and now we want to go back across to the right and underneath, go underneath. What you doing? All right, and see, it's looking pretty good already, I think. See? All right, so let's just stay on the outer edge, getting those bumps. So now we're going to get this bump right here. And now we're going to go back over to the other side, to the right side, go underneath, get that bump that's on the edge right there. All right, and then we're going to get this bump right here, always going under, and we're just going to crisscross back and forth like we're doing, okay? So now I'm at a point now where I think I can let the camera down a little bit more, okay? So we were left, so now we want to go underneath, We don't want to skip a bump. Here's the next bump. I'm going to do that one. And now we're going to go back over here underneath the bump that's right on the edge right here. So we're going to go right underneath that bump. Okay. All right. So we have our tail still here. Our tail is here. And we're pulling just to close it. We're not making it really tight or anything. Just enough to keep them together so that when the blanket is finished, it'll still be kind of fluid. Okay. So let's go over here now. And we're going to get this bump. This is our next bump. And there you go. And now we're going to go over here and get this bump. This next bump right here. All right. I'm going to go ahead and move this pin. And now I'm going to go back on the other side and we're going to get this bump. Right here. Okay. And all right. And now we're going to go back on the other side. We don't want to skip a bump. Here's a bump. We need to get that bump. Get that bump. Always go under. All right. And now, time to go back over here and get this bump. Do not skip any bumps. Okay. And now we're going to go back over here. And we're going to get this bump. All right, and this is what we're going to do all the way. And like I said, probably as we get toward the end, we may see some spots where we may have to cheat a little bit because we may have a few more bumps on one side than we do on another. But here is how it's looking. Let me back up now so that you can see how it's looking. All right, so here's what we have so far, okay? So the seam is practically invisible. I think if your thread, if your yarn is, if you used one color, you should barely be able to see the yarn at all. Over here and get this bump. Do not skip any bumps, at least not now, until we get near the end and we see we may have to cheat a little bit. But for now, do not skip any bumps. Okay, get the next bump. All right, and we're going to get the next bump. Let me put the... All right, so I'm going to get this bump right here. All right. All right, and now I'm going to go to the other side and go underneath for that bump. Again, what I'm calling the bump is that stitch that is curving around the these stitches right here that are on the outside of the blanket, okay? So now we're going to come back on this side. Get the bump. Just get the edge of the bump. Don't go far into the blanket. Just stay on the edge and get those stitches that are on the edge. Okay, so there you go. All right, and do not skip any bumps. All right, okay. All right. I'm gonna go over here and get this bump. And back over here to get this bump. Always go under. Let's go under here. Under, and get this bump. And get this bump. Okay, I'm going to take this out. And all right, so we're going to come back on this side and get this one right here. I'm going to go to the other side and get this bump. And this bump. Always go under. As you're working, if you feel like you're about to run out of yarn, don't let it completely run out. You want to stop with a tail of at least about 9 or 10 inches, just like the tail we started with. So don't let it run all the way out, and we're not going to bother about tying it or hiding the strings right now, but leave at least 9 to 10 inches and then go to a new yarn. Okay, so you're just going to leave that and then pick up where you left off. I'll show you because it seems like I'm about to run out in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to pretend like I'm out of yarn. I believe I could go a little bit more, but I just want you to see what to do. Let's say your yarn is very short right now. What you're going to do is you're going to make sure you have 9 or 10 inches, okay? And you're going to cut it like this. All right, so we have our 9 or 10 inches, okay? So we're going to just leave that. We're not going to do anything. We're going to get more yarn, and we're going to thread the needle again. We always want to leave a tail, and then when we're going to come back and fix those tails in a little while. Okay, so now that we have our new yarn, we're going to go into the last one we were in. Okay, go into the last bump, and we're going to leave another 9 or 10 inches. Then we're going to go across here, and we're just going to keep it moving. And then we're going to go, we're just going to pick up where we left off, but we're going to leave those long tails. And at the end, we're going to weave these tails in. Okay, so there. And we're going to go back over here to get this bump. And over here, always go under, go across. Now we're getting near the end, so I'm thinking I might have to cheat a little bit, but we shall see. I really do recommend the blocking for this particular blanket. Alrighty, and to help square up everything, you know. Let's see, where are we? Because I was sure I had one side that was a little longer than the other, and right now it looks like it's gonna be okay. I'm thinking that this one is just a little bit longer than this one. And let's see, I'm going to go over here now. You want to go right to left or left to right. Okay, so we're going to get this bump. And what I'm going to do is over here, I'm going to get 2 bumps. I'm going to get 2 bumps over here because this side seems just a little bit longer. So I've got 2 bumps now. But now I'm going to go back to the one bump, and I'm going to go back to 1 bump, and I'm going to go back to 1 bump, and all right, I feel like I need to take 2 bumps because this is longer I feel like I have more bumps over here than I do over here. So I'm going to do 2. Now, if you cheat like that, be sure to space them out. Don't do 2 bumps and then 2 bumps and 2 bumps. Do 2 bumps, then try to fit in 1 bump, 1 bump, 1 bump, 1 bump, and then gradually do another 2 so they're not all piled up. But I'm going to go ahead and do these 2 bumps right here. And I think that should do it. And then I'm going to go back over here and get 1 bump. And now I'm going to go back over here, get 1 bump. And then over here, get that 1 bump. Over here, get the 1 bump. Go back to 1 bump over here. And I'm going to go over here and stay on the edge. Okay, 1 bump here. And then I'm going to come over here and get the 1 bump. Okay, so I think we have finished. Again, we're going to leave about 10 inches over here, and we're going to cut that about 10 inches over here. All right, and now our blanket, oh wow, this is exciting. Our blanket is joined. Our blanket has been, the panels have been joined together. All right, and everything should look good. So this is the opposite side. Now, because I used graduated, things look all kind of funky, but that's just how it knitted. And so there we have our blanket together. So what we want to do now is tie in, or weave in, I should say, weave in all of these strings. Okay, so we have the one at the beginning, and we have the one where we ran out of yarn, and the one we started, and then the one where we ended. Okay, so get your darning needle. All right, so you're going to take your ends, your tails, and you're going to thread the needle. And we're going to weave these tails in. I feel like it's going to be a lot smoother looking and a lot easier if your blanket is all one color, as opposed to a blanket like I have where there are all these different colors and then I'm stuck with bright pink yarn to weave in. So if you ended up on a chain, the chain stitch that's along the edges here, you can follow the chain for just a little while, or start off following the chain. Get in there. Okay. And then we're just going to want to keep the stitches really small, especially with this color that's very obvious here. You want to try to hide it between the stitches. Let's see if we can do that. Yeah. And then we want to try to just follow the line of the stitches a little bit here. So you're going to weave in all of those tails, just hide them within the yarn as best you can. There's no need to make a knot or anything like that. Just weave them through. You're going to go about 1.5 inches in one direction, then go 1.5 inches in the other direction, hide those yarns, and then when you've gone the 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, then you're just going to snip the yarn and you're going to leave it like that. So once we have our tails hidden, now the last thing is to add some fringe and or tassels. I guess tassels if you do a few, fringe if you do a lot. I did a tassel on each end of my blanket, each corner of my blanket. So I have 4 tassels. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about the tassels and or fringe because I do have a video on the platform. I'll leave a link somewhere, but definitely there will be a link in the description box to that fringe Fringe video, and it will go into more depth about how to create fringe and add fringe and tassels to your projects. Okay, so for now though, we're going to go forward with that right now. Okay, now it's time to add our fringe. I'm going to add just a bit of fringe on each corner of this blanket. So what we need is our yarn. We need a crochet hook. The size will depend on the thickness of your yarn, and a CD case and some scissors. Any CD case will do. I'm going to use this CD case, and I'll show you why I use the CD case, because it helps me to make a lot of strings of yarn in a very short time. So I'm going to take the yarn and wrap it around the CD case many times. Okay, and then I'm going to cut the yarn, and then I'm going to slide it off, and I'm going to cut one end here. Okay. All right, now I have many strands. Okay, now I have many strands of yarn to use for fringe. So I'm going to say we're going to use 1, 2, 3, 4 strands to make a tassel of fringe for each corner. All right, so you're going to take your blanket and whatever side you want to use as a front. I'm going to use this as the front of my blanket, and I'm going to, if it's the front, I'm going to go in from the back. So whatever is the front, you want to come in from the back. Going to go right into the corner here. We're going to use 4 strands, 1, 2, 3, 4 strands of yarn to make a little cluster here. And so we went in from the back. This is the front, so we went in from the back here. And we're going to just collect all of these strands and pull them back through. All right, and now that we have pulled them back through, we're going to take our fingers and pull, go in that loop, make the loop, and then pull the yarn back through like that. And there we have our first cluster of fringe for our blanket. Okay, and so that's what we have. We'll come back and we're going to even them up in a little bit. But that's our first cluster. We're going to do that for each corner. Now, if you'd like more fringe throughout, then you can do that. But I'm just going to do the corners for today. All right, so now I'm going to go back to my yarn that we cut with using this CD. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, 4. Make them as even as you can, just looking. Okay, so if this is the front side, we're going to come in from the bottom. We're going to go right into that corner. Going to take all of these strands of yarn, pull it back through. We got the loop here. We're going to put the tails through that loop and pull, and now we have our second cluster. So we have 2 clusters of fringe already. And now we're going to go do this all around to all 4 corners. Finally, we have our finished baby blanket. Let me share something with you. This was a very kind of nervous journey for me, because for the first time on this channel, I was demonstrating something that I had not finished. All of the other projects, I at least did 1, sometimes 2, sometimes 3 of them before I decided I was ready to go forward and demonstrate them, because I wanted to know what I was talking about when I did them. For this blanket, I had an idea and I just went for it. And I had never finished one of these blankets before. Thank goodness the process worked and paid off. I think it's a fabulous baby blanket. And this is my first one too, but I think I'm going to make another one like this, like I say, using one color next time. But I want to thank you for being along on this journey, and I hope that your baby blanket came out wonderful. And that's all I have to say about that. I wish you love, peace, and I hope that your summer is a beautiful and blessed summer.